back on the escalator again.
Leave it alone. What?
Comics.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
TV and movies. Wrestling. Music.
We are just getting started!
Finally, a podcast about things you actually care about, hosted by a couple of guys who actually care about those things too.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yep. Maybe a little too much.
Yes, that's awesome.
The talented one, Chris Machete.
That no-talent ass clown became famous.
And Brenton, you know, that guy from your other favorite podcast.
I liked it. I was good at it.
So grab onto the handrail and don't let go.
There's a little boy caught the escalator!
This is the Kids on the Escalator podcast. Woo! Here's CM and BD.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
We got to make that song available.
We do, and we got to get Mike to actually, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get him to do that as well, because no one does it better, right, than the guy that.
Oh no, of course not. No, I hear Mike all the time on the channels I watch.
You know what? Let me
It's
tell you
very
something.
entertaining.
Let me tell. I don't. Yeah, we can talk about him. He's not in the show yet, but you know, the crazy thing is he's on all the things, on all the showcase and all the things that I'm watching there. I mean, I've been catching up on Dexter, and it's like there he is, and then all of a sudden, it like. You know, I've got to assume a wee bit of a dream come true for the lad as he talks about Star Wars during not showcase, but what was the other one that had the Star Wars marathon this weekend or something last weekend? Oh, there's Mike's name. He's on the whole thing. So anyways, pretty funny shit.
It is funny.
Well,
Some guy named Harry Nuts just said Happy New Year to me. Right on. You see that?
There's a Harry Nut. You know, our chat's been a little whack. There you go. Hi, Harry Nuts.
Happy New Year, Harry Nuts.
Happy New Year, Chris.
There we go.
There's
buddy.
Just Chris Machete, though. Happy New Year to only Chris, though. So that's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, it's all good. Welcome, friends. It is the first of 22.
It is.
How about that, eh? It's the first of 22. And
days now. We're on lockdown here in Ontario again, dude. I am just like, you get up and it's like, why bother? Like, I understand we got to get locked down. I'm not arguing against that. I get it. But man, you know me. I like staying inside. I'm a homebody kind of guy. And I'm sick of it myself. So how bad is that if I'm sick of it? I don't even feel like doing anything anymore. Like I do all kinds of stuff, but man, it sucks. Oh wait, you got a Happy New Year. There you go. Okay, offload delay gave you there you go.
Thanks, thanks, Hops. Thanks, buddy. You're a hell of a guy. You know, it's not just not just the Chris fan club.
I'm hogging all the New Year's.
That's right.
But hey, man, it sucks. I'm so sick of it. I'm just
talk to your premier about pre-planning. Let's just go with that.
No, I can't talk to him. Like he's gonna like it. No, I get it. Like I get that people are making mistakes, but it's just funny that as a guy like me, who is like bunkered up here with my toys and my comic books and my video games and my job that I work at home, I'm getting a little sick of it.
Yeah, I hear you.
And how about the people too? Because everybody's miserable. Is it just me, or am I just like? Because everywhere I go, everybody seems really miserable too, and that's making me miserable now as well. And I'm usually the guy that's like, I always say excuse me when I walk past you in the aisle or whatever, or let somebody go in front of me. And I'm just getting to the point
it's the January thing, man. Everyone's miserable in January.
I thought it was more February though. Isn't it the February blahs? Like January should be still riding off New Year's and Christmas, and it's okay, right?
You know what? The most depressing day of the year is coming up in like 5 days or 6 days when everyone gets their credit card bill from Christmas. And apparently it's the one when everyone really struggles the most with. So the only way we can keep people from struggling is by doing the shit that we know best, which is talking about Star Wars. That keeps everybody happy.
That was so good. I gave it 4.5 Deans out of 5. I thought it was really
that
good.
Shit. Well, speaking of assholes, stand by 1 second. We got a couple of guys coming in here. We got Mikey P. There he is. There's our guy. And Rooke, we've lost your video, but I don't know what's going on in your video. Oh, there is the goddamn thing that he's got that lightsaber again.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
He's wanging it up. Look at him.
There you go. It's a blue one too. That's cool. I like that. I got a red one in the other room there. The Darth Vader version.
I was gonna say, what's he playing with? Because if it's that color, you might want to go get that checked out. So there's
the lights back.
I just knocked over a lamp. With the lightsaber.
That's,
I can't be doing that anymore.
That's when
what's going on, guys.
Fellas, Happy New Year. Welcome back to the show.
Happy.
We're waiting on Jimmy, Jedi Jimmy. I'm not ever convinced that anyone from the locker room can function after 5 p.m. Pacific. in Edmonton.
What time are they on?
They're an hour ahead. It's 6 o'clock, but those guys are up at like 4 in the morning, and then they drink all afternoon. So we'll see. Last time we had Jimmy on, Jimmy was like, "I'm ready to go," and then he was wasted. And he was like, you know what I mean? It was pretty awesome. But anyways, guys, welcome, Happy New Year, and all the rest of it to everyone watching in the land and hanging out. Happy New Year to you, everyone watching on the Dean Blundell Network and everything. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we had ourselves a little thing. We crossed a whole bunch of downloads over the holidays, which was awesome.
Nice.
And so we're into the 5-digit figure now of downloads and listeners and people. Well over 20,000.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody.
Everyone. Cheers.
Cheers for that.
Cheers.
I think it's all Rooke. I mean, Rooke's only been on the show twice, and it's coincidentally every single time he comes on the show, we spike and
skyrocket.
Hey, thanks.
I think it's that blue lightsaber.
There you go.
For sure. Always
I think
playing
it's
with
that
my
blue
lightsaber.
So let's get everybody stoked. Stand by 1 second for anyone who has got their head in the sand, any Star Wars fan who hasn't gone down the road yet. Something magical happened on Disney this past Wednesday. Yeah.
Power, riches, respect. Everyone is watching, waiting for me to make the next move. I have to send a message. I'm the crime lord now.
The Book of Boba Fett original series now streaming.
Yay. It's kind of slick. It's kind of badass. And it had everything. Rookie, geez. Rooke beat us to the punch. He didn't even let us write an article. Rooke was like, I'm taking this shit over. I'm writing the article. Jedi Jimmy, who's coming on, little Jimmy has a show, a dedicated podcast to this program. Wow. And Rooke still beat us to the punch.
You know it's a good show when?
Yeah, it's to be honest, my wife was excited. She woke me up. I normally appointment watch in the evenings, and I have a whole thing 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, because I like watching Star Wars when it's dark. I don't know why. It's just a thing. But my wife woke me up and she was excited and wanted to watch it at 9 a.m. So I was like, okay, like if you're excited, we're on Christmas holidays. So I'm like, sure, let's do it. So I watched it at 9 a.m. and I was so jazzed up. I wrote the article right after we finished at about 9:35 and got her out there because I was just so excited and happy. So I apologize for stepping on your toes, but I had to do it.
Yeah, can you explain that last line in the article? Where it was like, I piss on the kids on the escalator podcast.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, what I said is, I know this is their dojo, but they can go screw off.
Jump on an escalator.
That's a lot of love.
They can go take an elevator somewhere.
There you go.
Straight to
Elevator
hell, buddy.
nowhere.
Sorry,
Straight to hell, Michael.
But I will.
Yeah.
Right in the Sarlacc pit.
Michael,
Yeah,
when did you watch this thing? Because you must be pretty fresh on it. Because I don't think you'd watched it the other day.
No, I had, and this is. I may be the only one on the panel tonight who is kind of lukewarm.
Careful
on the Book of the Fett, and make no mistake, I am a fan of the Fett. Have been OG fan. I was a little lukewarm, and I don't know if it was my Marvel hangover that kind of delayed my enthusiasm to, like Rooke, get up and watch it first thing. I think I'm having a bit of the Marvel hangover with the back-to-back Disney Plus throwing all this great stuff out. And maybe it's because there's been such a big gap between the end of The Mandalorian and now the Book of Boba Fett that I wasn't necessarily jumping at watching it. So I actually watched it, lame alert, New Year's Eve with, a glass of Macallan at my side while the family was sort of doing their own New Year's thing and I was being a loner. I watched
goddamn dad out there.
And to make this even worse is I watched it on my iPad. I didn't even watch it on a TV.
Come on.
This is
That's
again,
been Mike. That's been Mike.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Mike. That's great.
Been Mike.
So
so then what we get to is basically we're gonna get into.
I watched it right away.
Rook, you better be careful too. Or I'm gonna. Yeah. Anyways, it's all good. So what we're gonna do?
Okay. All right. You know what? As spending as many years as I did as a.
So then what we ended up doing is
no.
going into the.
It's like the Matt Damon bit. We just don't have time.
We don't have time. We ran out of time, Mike.
Let me just say, all the years that I spent as a producer of shows on radio, I know the power of the button. It sucks being on the other side of the power of the button. But I will say, I'm not all negative Nancy on the show, so don't worry. You don't have to Damon me up here. So,
all right, Chris. So, there's lots of Easter eggs, lots of stuff going on with this thing. First and foremost, this thing kicks off with him escaping, the Sarlacc pit, and we're sort of like of them, or like it kind of answers a bunch of these questions that were sort of like, hey, how's this going to go? How did he get out? They kind of got right to it, which is pretty awesome. Chris, you said it's a little different. So
in the book that they did before, Dengar, one of the bounty hunters, came and helped him. I wish I had them and I was going to bring them up. So if I was describing a character, I could put them in front of me. You know who I was talking about. But he had like the wraps around.
He
his
looked
head
like a
stuff.
head wound, like he had a head wound or
he had
something.
a gun that was way too big for him. So he saved Boba Fett in the book. And that was a little bit different. I liked when he was. I thought that was pretty cool. Right off the bat, it's like, because everybody's like, okay, how do you get out of the Sarlacc pit? And it's like, boom, right off the bat, here we go. Going to tell you right now, which was great. And again, this is the thing that the movie missed. All right, we didn't want these half-hearted new characters. We wanted redemption for our old favorites, right? We wanted redemption for Luke. Boba Fett got his redemption. Like, there he is. Like, oh wow, he got eaten by the Sarlacc pit. Well, man, those things will digest you. That's a pretty shitty thing to fall into. And it was kind of comical when he fell in. So hey, here comes here's Boba Fett's revenge, redemption, which is what this has been from The Mandalorian, and I've loved it. I like the way the tendril was hanging out, and that was the one that Han Solo shot from Return of the Jedi, which was really, really cool. And of course, Boba Fett is he's an old dude, and he's smart though, and he shows this throughout this episode as well. It surprised me. I was up early for some reason, and I was just looking on the TV and popped up, watched it, thought it was great. We can go into more details as we go on, but the opening scene, I thought that was really well played. Bringing in the stormtrooper that was obviously there, like well before, probably in A New Hope. He got swallowed. Maybe he was out looking for the droids, you know what I mean? And he accidentally fell in there, but he's been in there for a while. And then the way Boba Fett got out, that was pretty cool. But Boba Fett is super smart. And redemption, man. Boba Fett got his redemption. So yeah, Boba Fett. There you go, buddy.
I'm feeling like I want
Boba Fett fan.
Sarlacc pit stuff. Like I want this whole season dedicated to the inside of the Sarlacc pit.
I'm with you, Brent. I mean, again, visually, it was very cool. I love how you got a sense of, okay, there's the Jabba's sail barge strewn across the desert. There's been some time passage. Not sure how much time has passed. I loved the visual of it, and like you said, the attention to detail with the tentacle that was shot. You saw that, so I thought that was brilliant. But again, it's just as the fans that we are, it was almost like you gave me just a fraction of what I was hoping we were going to see.
There's got to be
from
more
that.
coming. There has to be more coming.
Like just from that scene alone, I wanted more, and I just thought it was almost the opposite of how he got knocked in. The comical, like, oh, all it took was a stick to the rocket pack, and in he goes. Well, all it is him stealing the air from the stormtrooper and burning his way out. Like it just seemed really.
But he was so tapped when he got out that he couldn't even take on a Jawa, right? Like that's how tapped he was. That
Which I thought was funny. Again, the Jawas,
but that showed how it fatigued him in there, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing I thought about that is like, because I thought the same thing, but then it's like, well, what are you going to show in there? He's stuck.
I want like,
what I mean? Like,
I want like a half half like.
What are you looking for there, you guys? I'm not.
I want
I'm
like a
curious as
half
to what you wanna see.
digested dude in there. I want like.
Well,
it's like a 1,000-year. It's a 1,000-year digestion. I'm like, well, you're really only going to pull off if you're already 50 and you're going in. You're only pulling off 40 years of digestion.
So you wanted him to explore a little bit.
Yeah, I want him to get like I want him like
first episode
going
to be
through
the
the
Sarlacc
thing.
pit.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a ship he swallowed. There's something else
that an
fell
Ewok?
in there.
Ewok
There's an
on
Ewok
Tatooine.
that fell in there. Rookie, what do you think there? What do you think there, Rookie?
I feel like they addressed it right away for the fandom, because if they didn't address it right away, then people would have lost their minds. I was curious as to if they were going to leave it for a later episode, just to make the fans wait, but they kind of did it right out of the hop. And I do agree though that it felt a little bit rushed, because it was maybe a 3-minute scene, 2-minute scene.
It was like the intro scene, like on Titans kind of.
Yeah, like they could have showed a little bit more of the struggle, maybe him coming to a little bit more, but I feel like if they didn't address it in the first episode, there would have been more complaints.
Now, with the time wise, again, I just assumed that it was a while after this had happened, like that. Our heroes from A New Hope, from Return of the Jedi, were gone a long time, and who knows what's happened. But the simple fact that he kind of almost came to and was gasping for breath, you get a sense that maybe he wasn't down there that long. Like
Doesn't it take place right after?
Yeah, no, they explain that, because they explain how long he was with the Sand People for. I was just reading about that before.
Okay.
It was 5 days. It was 5 days, 5 weeks. So I think he was down there for 5 days, and then he woke up, was what it was. But they say how long he was with the Sand People for before he got his outfit back. So kind of go back from there.
You kind of have to back it up to how long you could actually live without water. Let's go with that for a minute. Like if it's 5 days, then you only can last 4 days, can't you?
I think this is the suspension of disbelief. I think it's like, hey, give the fans, here's the Sarlacc pit. You've always wanted this. Don't ask any other questions. Just let's move on.
Yeah,
it's
kind of like a wrestling, kind of like a wrestling.
Because how old was Boba Fett when he went in? I assumed in Return of the Jedi he was still a pretty young dude, but when he's climbing out, he's looking pretty haggard and.
Did anybody notice his veneers? Did anybody notice that he's always going like he's doing that a lot? Did you notice his veneers?
No.
Oh, especially at the very end when he's holding the chain, he's like this.
No.
It's funny though. Actually, my wife noticed that more than I did. She goes, "Oh my god, look at his veneers!" And then after, I was like, "Oh, I couldn't stop looking at it."
Yeah, there.
He'd be beat up on the ground. You'd see him kind of smiling, right? But yeah.
So we go into the palace after that. We run into these two, which is awesome. I love the fact that they brought these guys back as kind of like, hey man, we're with you, man. Just let us live. They're kind of more cut now. So I guess they've been working out over those 5 weeks. I guess they did some burpees or something to get ready for it.
I was trying to figure out what was wrong. Like what?
No, they're in shape.
Jive. Yeah,
they're in shape. They hired a trainer, I guess, or they were working out in prison.
They lost all their armor. They're not hidden under there anymore. You see there.
But then those guys come back so anyways, they go into that, and then we run into sort of like, I can't really necessarily go scene by scene, but one of the things that I was digging was, you're back in Jabba's palace.
Mm-hmm. Right? And the attention to detail in there,
all the attention
was excellent. It really, you got a sense that they went back and looked at the reference material, and the shot, like just. It's like that scene in Return of the Jedi where Leia comes and sort of gets Han out, where it's dead quiet, there's nobody around, and you just get that sort of empty shell feel. Very cool. Again, Rodriguez really, I think he really captured the sort of the visual feel of it, of that whole sort of Jabba's palace to seamlessly tie it into Return of the Jedi. But we'll get on more.
Chris, where did you takeaways from like just in general on feel and look?
From the Jabba's palace there? Or the
sorry, there's two Chris's here.
Oh, right.
Rook.
Thank you.
You're feeling on this thing here, like you're feeling on just the overall, take on Rodriguez's approach to this.
I thought it was incredible. Like I never had any doubt in my mind with, David Filoni and Jon Favreau being in behind the scenes that they were going to do anything different. It felt like it was old school. It felt like it was sort of like a new hope. It felt just like it gave me that sort of vibe. And to be honest, one of my favorite parts was how badass the Sand People were. Because the Sand People generally are just the ones that do the crazy noises, but you could actually see they're warriors and a little bit badass.
Does anyone else want to see what they look like under there?
No, keep it a mystery.
Okay.
And my favorite callback, I don't know about you guys, was Max Rebo.
Yes.
When I saw Max Rebo
join with the Cantina
It was the
band.
same song too, right? They just put a different spin on it. It was the dun dun dun, but it was like dun 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 dun. Yeah.
I jumped up out of my seat and went, yes!
He survived as well. Because the big crash, right? Like his bib obviously survived. So now we know that Max and the guitar player there, they survived as well. So that's good.
This is like a Leonard Skinner kind of vibe callback to it.
They got the band all back together, and of course the girl there, the Twi'lek girl, was Jennifer Beals from Flashdance fame. Yeah,
that's right.
Which I don't see a lot of people talk about that, but as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh man, who is that? She looks great. She looks really good. Especially
I also think that the one thing that bothered me a little bit, but I get it, because as you mentioned before, that he's an older guy. He just seemed like he was getting his ass kicked the whole episode. I don't know about you guys.
Well, he's still hurt. I think the whole back to tank is showing that we don't have Boba Fett at full power yet, but we're gonna. And it's the same thing as I think that he's so nice. That was the thing that got me a bit. It was like, okay, man, but I think that he's smart, as I mentioned. He's in no shape to fight anybody right now. Yeah, that he was slowly getting the crap sucked out of him. So that back to tank that he's in, that Luke was in, that's his secret right now, man. That's like his Lazarius pit, right?
That's a repair. That's a repair tank. Yeah,
he has to keep going back to that right now. But I think we're going to see a different Boba Fett as it goes on. I'm just saying. I don't know. But that's what I'm thinking, is that he's very smart. He's not up to speed yet, or else he wouldn't be going into that damn tank, right? He wouldn't need that. So there's no sense trying to fight a lot of people and wasting Fennec Shan. That's just my thought on what he's doing there with that. But very interesting, because he's definitely, we don't have 100% Boba Fett yet. His health meter's like not all the way there yet.
To that point, though, and Chris's point, like Rook's point, like they made a point. Remember the Irishman? They made the Irishman with Scorsese just made the Irishman a couple years last year with De Niro and Pacino, and they de-aged them.
Yeah.
Right. And so then you had De Niro pretending he was 40, like Casino De Niro, but he's still punching and kicking like he's 80.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like wow, he looks so young, and then he's like, ugh, and like he's doing this, or like he's whacking somebody, and then he had to go throw somebody, or he had to go down to the shore and walk on these rocks, and he's walking like an 82-year-old man, but he's supposed to be 40. So in this particular case, I mean,
well, we were wondering how I remember Mike was mentioning, we were wondering how he's going to pull this off, because at that time too, this is probably before they gave him a trainer, right? Like last when we talked about it last season, whatever. And I remember us all, Mike, it was like, I don't know if he could handle his own show. Is he fit enough to even like go a whole day?
That was one of the critiques that online, was the fact that that fight sequence at the end there was not up to contemporary professional standards. So, again, it's but look at what you're working with. They're limited by how much Tamura Morrison can do. He's not a young guy anymore. When he did Return of the Jedi, a lot younger. That's like getting Harrison Ford to be like Indiana Jones.
Was he in the original Return?
Oh, sorry, no. Jeremy Bullock was at that point. Right. But even if you go back to Attack of the Clones, when he was Jango Fett, that's still a significant amount of time ago. So, you're limited with what he can do. And I think they did a pretty good job of sort of masking that weakness. And I think, like Chris was saying, you're going to see how this plays out. Like, there's a reason why Boba Fett's not this ass kicker that we all remember, the most feared bounty hunter in all the galaxy. There's a reason, and I think you're going to start to see that. As it goes.
I watch him, and I just don't want to get in the way of him getting to the early bird buffet.
Well, at least it's not as bad as as the Mandalorian when he shows up and it's like, dude, did you like eat Jawas while you were in this Sarlacc pit? Like, is that how you stayed alive? Because he was pretty beefy. Like, he looked like a dad bod, Boba Fett. But now, I mean, they've really, I think they got, get him some kick-ass, cleaned up armor, make him look, as good as you can for a,
make him not look like Daddy Warbucks.
We could be, another side of this too. I never even thought of this, but the more you guys are bringing up points, we could be watching the downfall of Boba Fett right here. You know what I mean? Like we could be watching the end of Boba Fett, and the Book of Boba Fett. This is the Book of Boba Fett, and at the end of it, it's like, boom, that's the end of him. You never the way it's heading. I think the Crimson, like other things, we'll talk about, but the Crimson Dawn, I'm really thinking is going to come up here at some point.
Oh, that would be so great.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think
explain that for our uneducated.
Well, the Crimson Dawn, and this will bring on. So why don't we switch over to think? Well, sorry, I'm cutting off. This is what I would like to see. So where are we at the show, Brent? Sorry, I'm jumping ahead a bit.
Well, we're just like we've gotten through the Sarlacc, we've gotten through him holding court as the guy, and then we have the
we got to go through the pay tribute thing with
the pay tribute thing.
Sorry, I'm jumping way ahead,
but it's all good. Like we're just kind of rolling through.
I get excited. I want to jump to the end.
So the pay tribute thing, where people had to pay tribute, and I thought it was funny that the one guy was like, "I'm not paying tribute to you." Or you got
the guy that came from the mayor, right?
Yeah, you got to pay tribute to me. But let's go, Rookie.
His delivery was great.
Take away on that.
The delivery was really good.
What do you think of that scene? What do you think of him holding court there?
I thought it was awesome, and I loved everybody coming through. And they're trying to, I guess, show him being a little bit more human and nice than the way that Jabba used to rule, which I think is humanizing him a bit, and how he's going to do it. And the good part was when his sidekick was like, "Should I kill him?" And he's like, "No, that's not what we do here anymore. But thanks for offering." And I think that it was also, I think we all realized the foreshadowing of the mayor, that the mayor is going to be either a thorn in his side, or a main character, main villain. I said in my piece villain, but I feel like after watching the trailer for the next episode, it's just going to be everybody's trying to come for the crown.
Did you see the still, Chris, of the Ithadorian in a kind of throne setting?
Yep.
So it looks like it might be an Ithadorian.
Yeah.
And that's the hammerhead type guys.
Yeah. So I just I thought it was good, and I feel like he's going to change his tune on how he rules. I think at the beginning he's going to be a little softer, and then he's going to realize that he's going to have to rule with an iron fist.
Not to, because you brought up the throne, and it sort of hit me. I'm like, okay, so they clearly made a new throne in the time that Jabba died and Bib Fortuna took over, because there's no way Jabba's ass was going to fit in that coach seat.
Yeah, well, Bib Fortuna was the last one in the throne, right?
Yeah, which again, and this is again plays to the whole timeline thing that's kind of messing me up a little bit. Bib Fortuna got super fat super quick. Mm-hmm. If this is only, depending on how this plays out, like I don't know how long he was with the Sand people.
He's an alien though, dude. He could get fat off of one burger. Yeah. We don't know, right? Like
True enough.
He could have a burger and be like, "Oh, I'm so full."
The torture droid.
He was
and I didn't realize.
Huh?
Yeah, Matt Berry is the voice of. I guess it's 8D8. I think that's the character's the droid's name. Matt Berry from
this guy here. This guy here. That guy.
Yes,
the guy on the right.
Matt Berry, who was on the IT Crowd. He's a British actor. He also did, I forget the name of the show. It's where he plays a stage actor. It's a British show. I'm going to have to look up the name of it.
Extras?
Not Extras. Hang on a sec.
Bib Fortini.
Balls.
Let me dig this up.
The Ithadorian, though, by the way, that they're showing in the still is going to be voiced by Robert Rodriguez. So, yes, he's going to be voicing Chai Rodriguez from Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, but he's going to be doing the voice of that Ithadorian there, right? And I'm thinking that the Ithadorian is, yes, the mayor, but I think somebody is above the mayor pulling the strings, which is where I think when we come down to this, it's going to be Kira. Amelia Clark of
Game of Thrones,
the Dragon and Boob show. So, and she's Han Solo's girlfriend in the Han Solo movie, and then she gets hired by the Crimson Dawn. By this time, I'm thinking Darth Maul's gone. She's maybe taken over. I'm thinking Kira is the one that's pulling the strings of this Ethidorian, who is going to be voiced by good old Rob Rodriguez there. I can't pronounce his name right now. So, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think that that she's going to be pulling the strings at the top there, and that's going to bring in the Crimson Dawn, who is originally Darth Maul's group of criminals. So it's like the more of the criminal element, right? Because that's what most of this is about, which I find amazing. I hope we see more bounty hunters. We saw kind of IG-88 there before. I would love to see Bosk. I think Bosk would be great.
I'd love to see Dengar.
Yeah, he'd be amazing too, especially like in a hidden scene at the beginning or something.
Yeah.
But the Tendonosian dudes, like Bosk, the guy who brought in the Wookiee fur, right?
The pelt, yeah.
Yeah, because they hate Wookiees and they don't get along, and the guy's like Boss. So I'd like to see Boss. I think that'd be great. And if he came in as part of the Crimson Dawn now and was working for Kira, wow, that would be really cool. And I'd like to see that. And plus Cad Bane. Cad Bane at the very end, a showdown between Cad Bane and Boba Fett, and Cad Bane kills Boba Fett. Boom! I'd be pretty happy with that. I think that'd be rad.
By the way, Matt Berry, Toast of London is the name of the show.
There you go.
If you get a chance, seriously, he's a brilliant, very funny guy, brilliant actor. Toast of London, and Brent, you'll love it just from with the voice, with the Mikey voiceover thing. There's some great stuff in there with him where it's he's in a studio and the engineers, like. Hi, it's Clem Fandango. Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango. Like, it's a running joke throughout the series. Matt, I love the fact that a lot of these droids that they're getting, these very funny British actors to play them. Like in Rogue One, the dude from Dodgeball, the Pirate Steve, and I forget his. See, as we're getting older, I'm not remembering the names of these actors. But anyway, I love the dynamic that you're seeing with Fennec Shand, with Boba. You've got the comedy of the droid as well. I'm seeing Fennec Shand questioning how badass Boba Fett is. Like, I'm seeing kind of there may be a little bit of a I don't know.
That's just from the first episode.
To the Crimson Dawn theory that you posed there, Chris, maybe Fennec Shand jumps sides somewhere along the way because she doesn't believe
She does have a life debt, though, to Boba Fett.
Yeah,
I don't know how important that is.
So does Chris Rooke.
To a Wookiee, that's huge, right?
Rooke's got one to us.
He does. Jump in the elevator.
How many episodes are we going to be? 9, right? Is it 9
Is
episodes?
it 9?
What?
They seem to stick to this arc that Chris loves, Machete loves, which is 9 episodes, which is like your first 3 and then your middle 3 and then your end.
Well, I just finished off Hawkeye and then I jumped right into this one. Because the ending of Hawkeye I thought was fantastic. Holy cow. Hawkeye was a lot better than I thought it would be, not to get us off topic, but I went from that right into this. Like I'm talking like maybe
I've watched the first episode. Rookie, where are you at?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where are you at with this on okay, so we go to they go inside the cantina or all the rest of it. Sorry, he's got who is this one here with the hair? Is that Jennifer?
That's Jennifer Beals. Yeah.
Right.
I kind of want to see her pull a chain at some point and have like liquid splash down on her.
It's been kind of controversial that he came into the cantina and took his helmet off. People are talking about that online, saying he
I
should.
thought that was interesting.
Like when he went in and then he was like,
Oh, yeah.
took his helmet off, and they're like, "Wait, you're leader now. You shouldn't be doing that or something." So that's
why he did it. Probably, he's really trying to buck the system, man. He's like, I'm the new leader. Here's how it's gonna go. So again, wouldn't that be the classic Western story? The guy comes in, tries to put new rules into the town, he dies at the end. It'd be a pretty tragic story. Plus,
this is
as you guys are all
Roadhouse.
saying, man, he's looking old. Like I don't know, could he do like a part 2? Could he really? I don't know.
Well, and then we got into the Sand People. So we go into so he gets, thinking about the Jawas, the Sand People grab him. He goes into this scenario here where he gets, has to go in and fight whatever this thing is here, which was kind of slick.
Clash of the Titans or what? Like
yeah, that was kind of rad with
the
the tribute to Leia there with the
Decent.
choke out, which was pretty rad. Rookie, how did you think that flowed on that side of it? What did you think of this whole thing in the desert with him up against the this whatever the hell this thing is?
First off, I see why Luke hated Tatooine so much, because if those things are just chilling in the ground, I want nothing to do with it. I'm just trying to walk. I'm just trying to walk to get milk, and that guy just pops his head up. It was good because I think that was, for me, showed him kicking ass, and I was like, "This is the guy that I remember." And but then I was like, yo, that little youngling took credit for it when he went back, and I'm like, that asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what he was trying to do, or did I read that wrong?
No, I think he was, but I kind of get the sense that Boba Fett, when he has that sort of that little moment with the water rock that he gets from the leader of the Tusken Raiders, they both kind of know. Yeah. It wasn't him. It was this dude.
What's and how cool was that? So anyways, Hops is wondering what Chris and Rookie are drinking in their mugs.
Oh, drinking in my mugs. I got an energy drink.
Water, ice
I
water.
had enough beer over the past few days. I got an energy drink.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there we go, Hops. I thought it was cool how they keep coming up with cool stuff like water rocks, not just dig for water.
That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I love seeing that exploring. This is the thing I like again about this, and as I'm not. This is what I hope the movies are going to start to do, is exploring these planets, man. There's so much cool stuff on these planets that we could find. You could do a trilogy just on Tatooine, I would think, in the movies. Like it's just so the water thing is, it's, as you pointed out, but that's a great point because it's such a small thing, right? Mm-hmm. But wow, what a great thing to know on this planet. I didn't know that.
Like, how do they get water? They have to have water somehow on this desert planet. Where do they,
and
then it starts
the moisture farmers, right? There's
then
moisture farmers.
Backing up though, then you're like over analyzing every scene in the history of Tatooine, going, "Hey, so why aren't they walking on water things there?" And then when
that could have been newly discovered. I don't look at it that way. I'm good at putting an excuse for some of that.
And was Tashi Station the only place you could get power converters on?
Didn't they mention it too? Did they mention Tashi Station in this? Yeah, that was great.
So I mean, I see what you're saying, Brad. Like
for
nerds, for Star Wars nerds, absolutely, this is like, oh, you're giving us this. Now we want, give us more of this.
Well, I said that last season. I'm like, if they're going to go down this road, I want, they did it in The Mandalorian where they showed us where like the land speeders are stored.
Yeah.
And the only thing that was missing was some angry mechanic fixing them. But it was just like, they dive into these little tiny things that we love.
So I think we're going to see the criminal underworld here. I think is what they're going to show, which is great. I especially for guys like us who just watched it forever and had the action figures. Now my little action figure displays I put together are actually coming to life now because you got to show in your own world what happened to Boba Fett after, and so this is cool. Now I'm seeing it all come to life, and I really like it. I'm enjoying it a lot.
And it's a nice sort of twist or like a different take on, because Mandalorian with the child and that whole. Sort of story behind it, like you were saying, Chris, this criminal element, there's a new sheriff in town. I joked it was like Roadhouse. It's like Patrick Swayze coming in to take over the bar.
That's funny.
But it's you get that sense of like there's a new sheriff, but there's still like the big crime boss that's you're going to pay tribute to me.
Who would you guys like to see coming up in this show then? Like I'd really like to see Cad Bane, just because they were Cad Bane brought little Boba Fett up, and you kind of look like they were going to challenge each other one day. And apparently that ding in his helmet is from Cad Bane as well. But I'd really like to see Cad Bane in there. And also the Omega, who is the last clone child from Jango Fett, from the Bad Batch cartoon. So I know it's hard to watch everything and know what's going on, but there is a little girl named Omega, and she's another Fett basically, and I'd like to see her brought in, which would be really, really cool. So Bosk as well. So three. I'd like to see Cad Bane. Don't see that happening. Would love to see Bosk. That would be cool, and a little bit of Omega. So what would you guys like to see?
Rookie, why don't you start?
I'm hoping for in either a flashback or maybe a relative, but I want to see Jabba the Hutt.
Nice,
so bad.
Just like him or a relative of him.
I like if it's him in a flashback, that'd be cool. Or if it's like somebody of his species,
yes,
then that would also be fine. But I just want them to kind of call back to that, just to see.
There's got to be more of them there, right?
Yeah, just to see it in like the new graphics and like
Larry Hutt.
No, I like that. They should. If expanding on the whole Hutt clan would be good because they were so powerful at that time. As they were saying, they set the standard.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
More Hutt. Okay, Mike.
What I don't want to see is I don't want to see too many callbacks to the original trilogy. I don't need sort of extra Star Wars Han, Leia, that sort of stuff playing into it. I'd like it to be sort of standalone. I'd like it to be different from the regular Star Wars universe. I want to kind of like what The Mandalorian was. You had just enough of a callback, but it felt original, and it felt
until
like,
Luke showed up, and then it was the original again.
Well, yeah, exactly. Which it was cool, but up to that point, it felt different. It was Star Wars, but it was different. I kind of want that same thing because we've got Boba Fett. I mean, that's the centerpiece. That's all I really want from that sort of original trilogy. What I do want, I love the idea of having Emilia Clarke and the whole Crimson Dawn. What happened after Solo? How did sort of that play out? The Darth Maul. Would Darth Maul still be in play at this point?
No. So in canon, Obi-Wan killed him. And wow, is that ever a great Clone Wars cartoon? If you're only going to watch one Clone Wars cartoon, watch the one where Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul, and it's just like that. Again, but it's such a touching scene. It's like, wow, it's over now. You got to watch it for me to describe it. Wouldn't do it justice. So no, I think Darth Maul's supposed to be dead by now. So that's why I was saying that Kira would probably be running the show, but she needs some muscle. So that's why I was hoping Bosk might be there on the side, right, helping run things. But it's funny, Mike, you're mentioning how these shows they go out on their own. Until they hit the end. Look at season 1, buddy. We hit the end, and all of a sudden, it was almost like Darth Vader was in there, right, with Moff Gideon. And then we hit the second season, and who do we end off with?
Then there's Luke,
Boba Fett, right? And then Luke, and so they start off that way, but then they bring in somebody classic, and they give, and it seems like to me they're giving. It's a character that needs redemption. Because I thought Luke needed redemption from his terrible display in the movies, and I thought Boba Fett needed redemption from falling in the Sarlacc pit and having no hearing about that, right? So I thought that was a cool way to do that. I'm waiting for redemption for the whole Mandalorian world, which is a huge story in itself there. But again, Boba Fett's dad, Jango Fett, how much are they going to go into that? Because there was a storyline where he was running Mandalore for a while there. So there's so many
that whole
that
thing.
go here, man.
Yeah, and I love that whole bit in the Clone Wars about how all the stormtroopers, at least for a while, were all clones. Like in essence, that stormtrooper that was in the Sarlacc pit with him technically was a clone. Like if he would have removed the mask, it would have been like, man, I'm looking at myself.
I think at that point it was
because it's right after Return of the Jedi.
He would have fallen in there probably by A New Hope, as I was mentioning. That's what speculation online is for most people, saying that he would have fell in A New Hope, and they're saying that when they're walking.
Did it switch over to them like pulling kids out of like stealing kids and making them Jedis or making them a stormtrooper story? When did that happen? Because
they just enlisted them because they took over. So it's like, if you want to join the army, join the army. It was like another career for them, right? You got to watch Han Solo, because that's the thing. What do you want to be? Do you want to be do you want to fly a plane? Do you want to work in the ammo? Do you want to be a grunt? What do you want to do? So it was a new opportunity for people who didn't have a job. Join the Empire, right? You know what I mean? We got cookies, we got weed, come get it.
The Empire did not have weed. There's no way.
I'm thinking they did, but well, not all of them.
And who paid for all those workers?
Power of the dark side.
Who paid for all that weed? Do you guys think Mando's going to show up
in this? No, I don't think he is. But I could be, so. It could be the one hand shake and the other, right? At the end, we get Mando.
That's what I mean. Like in the season finale, it just does the same thing that it did.
Oh, and looping it off. That's great, buddy. Yeah. Again,
like this one will lead into season 3 of Mandalorian, kinda. I don't know.
Right. No, you guys got me thinking now Boba Fett's just going to die at the end of this. So I'm thinking something mega big.
Well, here's the thing. Do you think the Book of Boba Fett is a one and done?
Yes, that's what. Now I'm thinking that, because you guys got like the more you've had me exploring how old he is and just everything. Though I think the Book of Boba Fett is going to be. That's, as I mentioned, like. That's it. There's your Book of Boba Fett.
Because Wanda was one and done. I don't think they're doing
no, it's coming back for another one.
Are they doing another one?
Yeah.
Really?
I thought
WandaVision's doing another one, and Agatha got her own show too.
So
Marvel is just, it's too much, man. Like Marvel is
too
just
much.
But Star Wars is almost becoming too much, but not really.
Well, I haven't seen a lot of Star Wars in a while, actually. I was really looking. That's one reason I was looking forward to the whole angle on Boba Fett and the way that the guys who produced the show do it. It is different from the Marvel ones. Again, I liked Hawkeye. I didn't think I was going to like Hawkeye, but that's another total discussion. But that's why I was looking forward to the Star Wars ones, because I was kind of marveled out And I love the just the sand. You know what I mean? Tatooine going into one planet kind of thing, and different. Like hearing a Rodarian talk, how cool would it be to drink with a Rodarian, man? Dude, say something, say anything. I don't care. Dude, they're hilarious. They're
say the right thing though, because I'll shoot first.
Like, come on.
But what Chris, you're talking about, and you guys were all talking about how the end of season 1 came back to something, the end of season 2 came back to something on the Mandalorian.
It's gonna end with something big. I don't.
But let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
Obviously they're gonna have to tie things in together. This is how you build franchises, right? So they go from here, maybe, and somehow it ties into Obi-Wan or something, or somehow it ties into it rolls right into the Mando, whatever it's going to be. But to me, when we come back to like what I want to see more of, I'm all about the Easter egg stuff. I'm all about exploring the planet, as you said, Chris, and they're doing a really good job so far in that first episode. And in the Mando, they did when they had to go and fight that big thing. That's like, as Chris said, like when, if you're on Tatooine and you're dealing with this shit on a regular basis, I mean, is there a helpline to call? Like what, like who's handling mental
Ghostbusters?
Is there some kind of dragon? Coffee station? I don't know, about 5 miles out. Clear the south side.
But also, who's handling the mental health scenario?
Hello, it's Watto. I'm no longer a Tiderian with parts. I'm now getting rid of animals. You know what
I got hit by a sand dragon, and I've never been the same since.
So to that point, maybe Tatooine is what we're getting here. Like Tatooine itself is the actual star of this show.
Yeah. So far, anyway. So that's what you want to see? Is more?
That's what I want to see. I want to see Tatooine. I don't want.
But what in general though? Like you want to see more about like
sand,
villains,
more sand.
More about
I want more sand. I want more sand. No, I'm
after watching Dune, I want to see more sand.
Yeah,
none of sand.
I think just in general, I love continuing to be like I like the fact that these guys have taken over this thing, and no matter what they do, I think is going to be gold. Like I really think they've been given carte blanche to do it. So I'm just character wise, I'm not as deep in as you guys are as far as like the little tiny things. Even my little guy can probably get further in on who we want to see. I love all your stuff as far as like, boobs and Dragon's Girl and all the rest of it taken over, and I love that side of it. I'm a massive Darth Maul fan, so that would be cool to kind of do that. But I'm with you, Chris. I think more criminals. We're always focused on the good guys, and then the Empire, which has its 7 bad guys. But like these criminals, and sort of like every other show we watch has got gangsters and people, and we get this backstory on all these guys. So why can't we get more of that on this? And I want them to kind of go down that road. But I think Tatooine's going to be the star of this one for sure.
You know what it dawned on me as I was watching Book of Boba, why I think we are so enamored with what they've done, with what Favreau and Filoni have done. And I watched the Star Wars marathon on Showcase over the holidays.
That was you, right?
Yes. Which, like you were saying, it is a pretty nerd out moment for me because it's like
stand by, Mike, for 1 minute.
Cool. Yeah,
stand by.
Okay.
If you're watching the Star Wars marathon,
yes,
and then Leon's comes on, and then Bodog comes on, you literally get 12 and a half hours of Mike.
I am
in your head on every goddamn thing.
That's why you watch it on Star Wars.
When I end up in a nursing home, Mike's going to end up being the guy that is like, all right, lunch is served, everybody.
And don't forget in between there, MacGruber is.
Oh yeah, and you did the MacGruber thing too, so that's kind of funny. Anyways, go back there.
But what it dawned on me as I was watching Return of the Jedi, which to this day I love and I hate for obvious reasons. Ewoks hate. But it dawned on me why I think we love what those two guys and the directors are doing in this, is that Star Wars is no longer the focused, or the end game is not to sell toys to kids. So you're getting real stories and you're getting these characters and the grit that Star Wars really is, because they're not focused on having to get a bunch of Kenner action figures and play sets sold in stores. I don't necessarily, like, it's on Disney Plus, but I don't necessarily think that the focus is on kids like Star Wars kind of became.
Well, like the newer movies, like
like
the new
Empire,
movies were, they
loved
weren't about the characters in the newer movies, right? Because there wasn't anything really going on. You didn't care about them.
But it was about let's be honest. It was about selling toys.
No, I'm saying like the newer movies. This is the diversity between. See, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is how the movie should have been done, and I think they're learning that. I think they're learning that the way we're doing the new movies isn't right. We're just throwing shit against the wall. It's not working. These guys who know Star Wars, who tapped into it when they were young, who give a shit about it, are creating the best Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus television right now, in my opinion.
Rooke?
Yeah, I agree. I think that they should just give everything to Jon Favreau and David Filoni.
Because they care.
Everything.
It's not about the action figures. It's not about the money coming in. It's because they give a shit.
Exactly. Do you guys know if George Lucas has anything to do with like advisory roles on any of this stuff?
I know that he visits the sets and they love to have him on there. I've seen numerous pictures of him on there.
I think he's, from what I've heard, he's not involved. But the fact that he was very outspoken about the movies, the new ones, and kind of was like, I wouldn't have gone there. And I think, to your guys' point, the fact that these guys have taken this thing into a really great space for us fans, and they're kind of correcting the wrongs. I think Lucas is probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, hey, if Boba was doing this, what would this? And he would go into his archives and go, well, I actually used to have him. He was actually a poker dealer first. And then he was like,
if he dropped by the set, George Lucas, I'm sure Filoni would have some questions for him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it would be having coffee. It's like, so by the way, I got this scene coming up. What do you think of that? And, just to get, I'm sure he would want to get.
But we've had this discussion about how much Lucas really had thought ahead or got so involved in the overall canon of Star Wars. I don't necessarily think George, unlike Stan Lee or Jack Kirby to that extent, like, I don't think it was as deep for George Lucas as it's become for like Filoni and Favreau and like just the extra Star Wars canon. That's where I think it's a benefit for them that they don't have to. I don't know how much Kevin Feige had to sort of check with Stan Lee and go as deep with. I think they've got more, there's more carte blanche to go into that canon that was developed by fans, by like the Timothy Zahns, that whole, and to the comics, Chris, that you sort of draw upon that were, that gave us, Book of Boba Fett in essence. I don't think there's as much George Lucas at the center of it outside of, Han, Luke, Leia, Darth Vader, and maybe Yoda.
I'm fine,
which is
with
a
that.
good thing. Yeah, it's like,
I find the vibe though. It's got that vibe.
Yes. Well, I think they were conscious of that.
It gives you that original kind of vibe, and I'm sure they do it on purpose.
Well, because I mean, there's not a whole lot of CGI. I mean, if there is, it's really well done. But they're sticking with a lot of that sort of live, made up aliens, which, I mean, I loved that in A New Hope, and I loved how Rogue One went back and kind of tapped into that when it came
Rogue One.
out.
I just watched Rogue One again, and you know what I thought that was the perfect balance of the CGI there. Like, I think they had it to the point where it was. Now I know Moff Tarkin did the whole face, but I'm just like the spaceships and everything. I didn't seem too overdone. It was like just seemed perfect. I really, really forgot how much I enjoyed that movie. It was a really good movie.
I'm curious from a financial standpoint because of the backlash that they got for the whole Luke Skywalker sort of CGI, and after that fan who popped it into the deep fake and came up with a better looking version of Mark Hamill than actually Disney Plus. I'm curious to see if Disney would be willing to pony up a little extra cash if they decide to bring maybe a Princess Leia in at some point here.
I think they got it. I think they got that money somewhere.
And isn't Buddy scheduled to come in there? The Winter Soldier there, isn't he coming in to play Luke in the new?
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, because isn't he coming in to do some stuff? Because I've seen pictures online of him.
Oh, really? Oh no, that I don't know.
Check it out because I see it come up on my feed. that they're all ready for him to do some Luke Skywalker stuff coming up, which would make sense. Man, the guy looks just like him.
Oh yeah,
like why not?
Even
like,
Mark Hamill is like his
Sure.
son.
It's time. Yeah, like it's time, man. I'd love to see Luke, man. He was my hero when I was a kid, and then when I saw him as this crotchety little guy throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder, it's like somebody kicked me in the nuts, man. Not to like, you know what I mean? Like just. I was so looking like Han Solo came back, and I was like, okay, Han Solo, cool. Hey, Chewie. I was waiting for Luke personally, man. I don't know, but and then Luke came back, and he was just a dick. He sucked. You know what? It was a letdown. Honestly, it was like somebody just come up and kicked me in the nuts.
You know what the worst part was for me when he got attacked by all those lasers and then did this. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Dude, I almost walked out of the theater.
So you agree with me on that?
On.
Yeah, that was the Luke thing, man. Just that really just. I was out at that point. It was kind of like, really?
Now, okay, let me come back for a minute. Now, should they have not killed him off?
Who, Luke?
Like, if they would have killed him off in a different way, let's take these guys that are running The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Let's say they were handed the reins before JJ and all the rest of it, and they were given carte blanche. And I know that Harrison Ford's thing was like, I'll come back if you kill me off.
Yeah.
Fine. I think everyone knew.
I thought that was done well. I like the first one. I thought we were heading a good way. And then
So I guess the question is basically, well, Rookie, you got to jump, right? We're going to jump anyways. We can only be on for an hour, so we got to go here in a couple minutes.
Okay, buddy.
But final.
You all.
Thanks, Kyle. Really good to see you again, my friend.
The shorts, Rook.
Thank you.
Use the shorts, buddy. We'll see.
I will.
That's Rook.
Take care, buddy.
I can't believe he totally jumped you guys with his write up on Book of Boba Fett.
You know,
that's bad form. I'm just kidding.
You know, it's
they get the real story here. Anyway,
you know what? You saw on Dean had his top 5 assholes of the year. I don't know if the kids on the escalator top 5 assholes of the year for 2022. Rook is making a play by jumping the Book of Boba Fett.
But you got to remember that one of us would have had to actually write the article.
That's true. That's true.
So it wasn't really going to happen.
Yeah, that was the one thing that stopped me from doing those was the actual typing of everything and then getting the grammar right. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to write comic books.
Rook has a better work ethic than all of us.
That's great. Rook can get up in the morning too. Plus, I'm like an 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock riser, so that's all good. They can take the morning shift. I'm Johnny Fever.
Where I was going with that was basically like, if these guys were handed the reins first and they decided to kill Luke off, is the problem the way Luke went, or you just in general?
I remember we discussed this, dude. Yeah. I personally, you got to go back, and it's a chain reaction of bad ideas.
Yeah.
If you change one thing, if you change the father of Rey, immediately you're going to change the scope of the film right there. You could have her be Kylo Rey's sister, which would have been an amazing right there. My favorite thing would have been having her be Obi-Wan's daughter. Again, that just opened up so many more story ideas. Like Palpatine, seriously? I don't know. It was just like, and then to go the route where you don't even explore the whole Sith thing. It was just such a grab at the end. I found, man. If you change that one thing, you're going to find a lot of other things change. Then maybe you get a Luke who's not a whiny douchebag. I don't know, right? But there's a lot of different ways you could change that. No, you guys got to admit, Luke sucked, dude. Like, I don't know anybody who saw it and was, oh, there's Luke Skywalker. Good to see him again. No, it was terrible, man. And he was my hero as a kid. That was like taking if you would have took Spider-Man, you know, and put like Pee Wee Herman under him or something back in the day. Like, hi, kids. I don't know. But anyway, go ahead, Mike. Yeah,
I was just going to say, it absolutely. I mean, what crushed me immediately was you have this beautiful, poignant moment at the end of Force Awakens. The lightsaber extended, Luke with that look of,
that was done really well.
And then you open up the second film with him tossing it over his shoulder. And it was like, that was it. And to the whole J.J. Abrams, I think J.J. had the best intentions from a fan service point of view. I think he really had, but it was almost like watching Lost again. He had this great idea, but he had no idea past that one film what he wanted to do.
Well, I'm surprised that they didn't run
really
out.
Good start.
Like, they must have been an arc. And they could have went with it, but it seemed like they didn't because I
couldn't believe they didn't kill off any of those new characters. How do you not kill like because especially Poe Dameron?
Yeah,
Okay, he's an amazing pilot. Other than that, he's got nothing. So kill him off and make him worth something. You know what I mean? Like then people are like, oh man, wow, he sacrificed himself. No, he didn't. He sacrificed everybody else, and at the very end, he was still around. It was a lame character. I didn't dig him at all. Man.
But to your point, if that would have changed, it would have changed the whole trilogy. Would we be as invested or as enamored with Mandalorian, with Book of Boba Fett, with the upcoming Obi-Wan, with I keep saying Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano, yeah.
Yeah, like would we be as invested and loving these had the last trilogy not sucked? Because had they done it well, we would have had our fan service. Yep. We would have been like, I'm all Star Wars'd out. But the fact that it sucked, now we've got our redemption story for Star Wars. We're getting what we hoped we were going to get.
We're getting the fix.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited about where it's going to go. I think we're going to have a.
That's a good point, though. If the movie would have went well, I don't think these shows, like if they would have did the movies properly, I don't think we would have had. It would have went the opposite, Mike. That's what would have happened, right? We would have had the great movies, and then the TV shows would have been like, what?
It's like you should have just stopped there. But because it sucked, it's like, yeah, keep going because we didn't quite get what we were hoping.
You're right though, dude, because it had the ending of number 1 too. Like I really liked the first one back. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, this is good. Wow, you killed off Han. Like I was so upset. Yeah. I felt it again. I actually felt it again. And then number 2 right off the beginning, kicking the nuts.
Well, it's because you liked Force Awakens because it was A New Hope.
But I thought maybe they might do something. No, but the new characters though.
Yeah.
Like I thought I liked Rey off the beginning. I thought Rey was really cool. But she didn't really
great
evolve.
Dynamics. Yeah.
And the other 2 guys that were just.
And maybe that goes to having a different director with a different vision for,
or just writing, taking more time to write layers to the characters.
But it's also that whole idea that these were fans of Star Wars, and when you get the reins as a fan, every Star Wars fan will have a different vision of how they wanted to see things play out. So J.J. Abrams had his vision of how he wanted to see it play out, or at least the first film. Rian Johnson, he wanted to take it in that sort of like, the past was great. Let's start a new, something completely different.
By pissing all over Luke Skywalker, man. See, that he offended. No, seriously, that's what all the fans said. Okay, thanks, buddy. You pissed on all my hero. You pissed on my hero off the opening scene. Fuck you. That's exactly what like the media was, right?
Yeah, but then Filoni and Favreau redeemed that, douchebag thing.
But the point though of what you about how they just threw it like this. Oh, I'm going to change things, blah blah blah. But he didn't. He changed it by throwing a big "F you" in front of all the good fans' faces who have been around for years and years. Now your Luke, you remembered.
I got a question for you. Then
replacing her.
Oh, here we go, fellas. Ready?
Yep.
It's the 1 minute rapid fire.
Okay.
And then we got a wrap.
Okay.
All right. Remove the last 3 from the equation.
Okay.
Disney comes to you, Mike. Hey, we heard you do voiceovers.
Uh-huh.
You sound pretty good there on the thing.
I got in the thing there.
But here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We want you to write 3 more Star Wars movies, and you get to do whatever you want. 1 minute, Mike. Not knowing anything about the things that just happened. The 3 that just happened.
Holy cow, in a minute.
Easy.
3 movies?
Easy.
You got 1 minute.
Easy.
Here we go. This is Disney calling, going, are you the Mike from the thing when I hear my thing? All right. You got, we're going to give you 3 movies. We're going to pay you $80. How are you going to write them? Go.
I'll tell you. Yes, thank you. There's a gentleman by the name of Timothy Zahn who has written a trilogy of books that I think would be an excellent adaptation to the follow-up trilogy. There's these 2 gentlemen, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Have them handle the actual adaptation and the directing and the producing of this film. Thank you, and send the check to my address. And if you need a droid voiced, I could probably do that too. I mean, Bill Hader could do BB-8. I can do some droid. Thank you. Timothy Zahn. Had they done those books,
yeah, right,
it would have been kick-ass. Admiral Thrawn, Jorah Sabath. Like, oh my God, that would have been the best way to sort of see what happened to Han, Leia, and Luke. in a sensical way and have the twins, the Jedi twins, and
you could still have and good characters though, right?
Oh my God, it was well written, and it was.
See, that's that's my big problem. You're nailing it right on the head. Is that they didn't have a good proper writer. Timothy Zahn would have been even if you just use
as the source,
just as a source, his base notes, man. You would have had characters that you cared about. You would have you would have cared if they lived or died. It would have totally changed the game.
Hell,
see, I totally agree with you.
I would have got the writers from Knights of Republic of Old Republic, the game.
The writers, right?
Yeah.
Same question, Chris. 1 minute, go.
Well, no, I did this. We did a whole episode on this, Brent. I think they should just go back and see the episode where I did it. I did a whole episode on what I would have done with the trilogy.
I got an idea. There's a tornado.
I went through the whole thing. I don't remember what episode it was we did, but I went through the whole deal from the very beginning to the end on how I would have changed the whole deal.
It's a new year though.
But it started the whole thing started with changing the father of Rey. And it's just a chain reaction of awesomeness from there.
I'm not talking about a boot. I'm not talking about rewriting the 3 that came out.
Okay, well, no, then as I said, I agree with Mike. The first thing is you need a writer, man. Like if I was going to write it as a brand new thing, man, I can't do it in a minute here. I'd have to really sit down and think about it. You can't just.
I was watching I always loved watching the Kevin Smith reviews of these movies, like a week or two after. Like I'd already seen it, but then you watch him and he's so emotional, and then Han died, and I like watching those. But do you think there was? I know him and JJ are close, but to me. You think when they were putting those 3 together, someone would have been like, all right, well, we need Kevin on that. Kevin's got to at least give us some kind of like, where do you want this to go as a fan? It feels like a lot of super fans were kind of left out of those 3.
Well, you know what, dude? I used to do that when I wrote music. I used to, I'd do a demo, send it to you. I'd send it, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. And I always got back different feedback that I'd go back and I wouldn't be able to finish the song properly, or I'd totally lose my whole train of thought.
Never from me.
As a creative person, well, no, you were always like, I don't like the drums. I don't like those computer drums. So last Christmas, Brent's like, I got some computer drumsticks. I'm like, you did.
I'm talking about the machete stuff.
You like those computer drums now, do you, Brent? What happened to those 15 songs I sent you 5 years ago? Anyway, as a creator, man, I've come to the point now where if I write a song or if I'm drawing anything, I don't show it to anybody I don't ask for. And then the main thing I say is I'm not looking for notes here. Like if somebody says, hey, let me check that out. Okay, I'm not looking for notes, but here it is, or if you want to hear a song I'm doing. And I've learned to rule out what everybody else says. And when my last band I was in too, that would come up and it'd be like, no, dude, it doesn't matter what people think outside of this room. I don't even want to know what your wife thinks, what your best friend thinks of the song. I don't want to know at this point because we're creating it. So maybe they have that, maybe they don't. But from somebody is creating and doing that kind of thing, that's my opinion. It wasn't originally, and it effed me up left and right. I was so worried. I'd write a riff and it'd be like, oh, I can't put this in there because this person I know won't like it. Or I can't do this with this band guy I know is going to think I'm a wuss. I can't use the word love in a song. And then you're screwing yourself. And then you got nothing. You got nothing.
And this
so for me, it's like create.
Was always going to be the problem with Star Wars, with the franchise, is that there is no possible way somebody could come in and do what you said, Chris, block everybody out and just, this is the film.
Oh, especially with Disney owning it. Yeah.
You can't do that. And from Disney, but from the fans alone, because there are too many people that are invested in it to let you sort of just, this is my vision, which is kind of what Rian Johnson did. And I think that we saw what happened there.
Yeah.
I think the reason why Kevin Smith wouldn't do it, as much as he said he would have loved to have done something with it, it's you need to have somebody in the Star Wars universe that was writing there that would be an Aunt May or an Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility, because the Star Wars franchise, you can't do it as an individual singularity, because there's too many people that are involved and too much there that you can't block out all that noise and do it justice.
You're never going to get it right.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what? You know who? You know what's damned if not damned, and who's that's fantastic is Skeletron, because Chris is left alone to do his thing. So that's a prime example. prime example of that. So, all right, Mike, here's the question. The first question of the year.
Yeah.
Where can't we find you?
Where can't we hear you, Mike?
I think some small remote part of the Ukraine, maybe. I don't know. You know what? This has been a great holiday break, just because things were quiet and now it's back to business, baby. It's back to business.
Nice.
2022, and yeah, you can still hear me all over. And I appreciate the kind words, Brent, because it's if you can't hear me on the podcast, you can feel like I'm right next to you. If you're
just turn on every
HGTV.
goddamn channel on the TV, and there's Mike
taking over.
I bet I know one country they don't like you in.
What's that? I'm Hydra.
There's one country.
There's one country. There's one country that doesn't like us very much.
Oh yeah. I know which country you're talking about. Yeah,
we're gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
Speaking of though, I think our buddy Jimmy Cornderis is coming back on for the Royal Rumble. So we're gonna have a little.
Johnny Knoxville's gonna be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get to talk about.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that, Mike.
Day one, and
we'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into all that stuff. We got a whole bunch of preview of stuff coming. We've got Royal Rumble coming up. We got a bunch of stuff. We'll get Jimmy on for that. But that's Mike. Joining us again. Thanks, buddy.
I promise I will give the Book of Boba Fett a little more love as it goes along. Trust me.
I hold the conch. So
you won't have to block me out. Anyway, boys,
with more excitement, right?
Happy New Year. Cheers to a fantastic 2022, and looking forward to more of this fun and frivolity. So peace out, y'all. Oh, cheers, buddy. I almost took out the old slave one.
Jeez.
Rock on, brother.
Peace out, guys. Ciao.
Mikey P back in the house. Good to see him. Man, so a lot of takeaways from this thing. I was a fan. I loved all the little Easter egg stuff in there. I loved him getting out of that Sarlacc, which was awesome. I'd like to see what he's going to do with this new universe of his.
Well, I think Mike nailed it, man. I think if the movies were good, then the shows wouldn't have been. But the movies were not done. 2 and 3 were not done properly, and the TV shows are now. And
there we go.
The fans have spoken, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's
okay. So that's the first one of the season for us, or first of the year. Sorry for us. You can catch all of Chris Machete stuff at the Etsy store right there, Machete Comics, where you can find Skeletron issue 1 and issue 2 and issue 3 on the way.
Yeah,
artwork. Chris you can commission him, and he'll draw something really rad. And he's drawn some really.
You can buy from the store.
I think we got to show off some of your stuff on the next episode. So
yeah,
sure.
Some of it I just finished off doing 2 30-second clips for an NFT video game, and I'm currently working on turning a future HGTV star into a comic book character as well, and a fine young rapper, songster, artist, musical artist from the big city of Toronto. Been doing a lot of work for him as well. Yeah, big city of Toronto. Been doing a lot of work for him as well. Just finished off some more drawings for that fantastic friend. It's name's Evan. He's
Ev.
He's a rad musician. I'll have to show off some of the artwork that I've done for him as well on here. Just all the stuff I'm doing lately. I'm actually really busy for an independent comic book artist, man. Life's good. Except for I want to get it with some good people.
Thanks to everybody. Harry Nuts. Thanks for coming on. Brad Hops.
Who's Harry Nuts? You know who that is? That's awesome.
I don't know who it is. Probably Dent. You Harry Nuts.
No.
Ryan from PP1. Thanks for joining us.
Ryan Hank, what's up, buddy?
Definitely there. We didn't get little Jimmy, but I feel little Jimmy is doing his thing and already sleeping.
Did you hear his Boba Fett show?
Yeah, he dances on the internet a lot.
Oh, I see that, and he drinks beer. But his Boba Fett show, was it credible?
Yes.
Was it?
I think he did a good job. Yeah.
How long did he talk about it for?
10 minutes.
What?
He did a 10-minute. He did a 10-minute Boba, like a 10-minute.
I thought it was like a whole segment on Boba Fett he was doing.
No, he's dedicated a show to just reviewing the episodes, and he did 10 minutes, so that was fine. He did he did a history of Boba Fett, which was cool. And
did he get it right? I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, check it out. I think
did he get it right? Oh, buddy, should I watch it and maybe
definitely should watch it. Definitely should watch it. Then we'll get him on for debates if that's the case.
Well, it won't be a debate because we're gonna know who's right.
My friends, what else?
I've got a closet of comic books, man, and a stack of Boba Fett books this big.
Jimmy, you better be right, Jimmy.
I'm coming for you, buddy.
You better be right. But Thanks everybody for joining us. Kidsontheescalator.com, where you can find all the stuff. Leave us a voicemail. We'll put you on the show.
We will.
Make sure you download and like and share and do all the things. Join us over on YouTube and all those fun places. Thanks to our friends at the Dean Blundell Network for having us. Rookie, thanks for joining us today. Producer extraordinaire over at Dean Blundell, Mikey P, all the people. Next week, we are back. There's going to be another episode to review. Plus, we're going to get into some Chris's artwork, and we got some guests on the way.
I get my buddy on. I'm gonna get my buddy on from SPT Comics as well. I think, dude. I think we can get him on for an update on what's going on with comic books and just the whole. He's got mega toys too. He gives a good update on what's going on there. Yeah, my workshop's canceled down there, of course, because we're on shutdown. But I'll talk to him.
Kids on the Escalator.
Cheers.
Good times.
Right, dudes.
Thanks, everybody.